Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed by the state of our planet? Does the news of climate change,
Climate change. People are calling it the crisis of our time.
biodiversity loss, and environmental destruction leave you feeling anxious, stressed, or hopeless? And if so, you're not alone. More and more people today are experiencing what's known as EcoAnxiety, a sense of worry, fear, or grief related to the state of our environment. But the good news is, there are strategies you can use to cope with EcoAnxiety and take action to address environmental issues. In this video, we'll show you how to overcome EcoAnxiety and discover strategies for coping with EcoAnxiety in a changing world. Hi guys, my name is Victor and I'm excited to share these strategies with you. But first, let's take a closer look at what EcoAnxiety is and why it's becoming more common. Are you ready? Let's go. Now first of all, let's be honest. The world is changing super fast. It's no surprise that the state of our planet can be a major source of stress and worry. From the wildfires in Australia and California to the rising sea levels and coral bleaching on our oceans, it's hard to ignore the signs that our planet is in trouble. Some people even think about not bringing children into this world. Now what is eco-anxiety really? Well, it's more than just a reaction to environmental issues. According to the American Psychological Association, it's a feeling of environmental doom. It's a sense of worry, fear, or grief related to the state of the environment and what the future planet may look like, and the negative impacts it will have on our future generations. As the effects of climate change become increasingly visible and the media draws more attention to environmental issues, more and more people are experiencing eco-anxiety. Have you ever felt anxious or overwhelmed about the state of the environment? Maybe you've seen news reports about how most plastic ends up in landfills or oceans. Maybe you also thought about recent environmental disasters like wildfires. Maybe your mind became consumed with what-ifs and possible bad outcomes, and you were afraid you would get judged or people would get angry and annoyed for you speaking out. And it's not just adults who are affected by eco-anxiety. Children who love the outdoors and want to enjoy it for years to come can also be impacted. They might feel afraid or uncertain about the future, leading them to get disconnected from nature and turn to unhealthy habits. They might become exhausted and helpless because no one seems to be doing anything about the issue. Or they might become depressed and even furious about politicians and authorities not really caring about the planet and those who live on it, but more on making big money. In a nutshell, eco-anxiety is real and can be debilitating if not managed well. Meet Caroline Hickman, a climate psychology lecturer from the University of Bath and one of the authors of the recent study about climate anxiety and its effects on the youth. Shockingly, out of 10,000 people surveyed, 6 out of 10 young people between the age of 16 to 25 were very or extremely worried about climate change. More than half reported negative emotions like sadness, anxiety, anger, powerlessness, helplessness, and guilt. These feelings even impacted their daily lives and functioning. This is a concerning sign that climate change or the climate crisis is already affecting the mental health of younger generations who should be protected from such disasters. So it's time to acknowledge that the climate crisis is not just an environmental issue, but a mental health one too. Similarly, indigenous groups are among the most affected by eco-anxiety. The Sami population in Canada has lost their once cultivated lands, while the Inuit people are experiencing harmful effects. These communities not only have to deal with the environmental damage, but also fear losing their resources and cultural traditions that they've preserved for centuries. These are all alarming rates, but what do these numbers actually mean? Well, they mean that our planet is facing a neglected environmental dilemma caused by the irresponsible decisions of previous generations, businesses, and governments. The world cannot hide anymore how severe the effect of our changing climate is. In years to come, there will be high possibilities of more animal extinction, soil erosion due to more flooding, land and sea pollution, all of which can lead to diseases due to unhealthy habits of people. In 2050, the United Nations predict the world population will reach from around 8 billion to 9.7 billion people. When that time comes, it would be 1,000 times more challenging to build a sustainable environment, especially in times of streaming, same-day delivery, and fast fashion. Okay, I already can hear you saying, Victor, we get it, but what can we do? Good you ask, because fortunately, there are still people willing to pioneer in this conversation, like the renowned environmental activist and educator Dr. Jane Goodall, for example. She has explored the depth of all possible environmental damage and walked through with living beings who had experienced them firsthand. It led her to realize the 4 reasons of hope. The first one is social media. It has become the go-to way to communicate in our modern world, reaching millions of people with lightning-fast information. To make the most of it, Goodall encourages everyone to actively fill it with more content of awareness about environmental aspects happening, to reach more people, especially the youth. That's why the second is the youth of today. According to Dr. Goodall, the youth holds one of the keys to ending our climate change battles. With their fresh minds and unconventional thinking, they can generate new and innovative solutions for the future. Let's work together and empower the future leaders to make a positive impact on the planet. Then, of course, nature's resilience. Our planet has been through a lot and will continue to survive even in the face of crisis, with or without us. Dr. Goodall's experience in Gombe, Tanzania exposed her to the devastating effects of barren lands and species extinction, inspiring her to create the Takari program. This program provides a sustainable livelihood for the locals and encourages them to protect their resources and forests, which can help prevent drought, hunger, and other environmental issues. Successful restoration projects like these give us hope for a brighter future. Check out the description box below for more interesting and inspiring restoration projects. And that brings us to the fourth and most important advantage of the human species: the power of the human mind. Rather than inventing things that can cause more pollution damage, we have to use it to make things we and the environment can benefit from. For example, the use of clean energy to produce cleaner air. An example would be solar energies to supply energy to our homes and other commercial spaces. Hydroelectric power is another example that is a more reliable source of clean energy using water. But how do you manage your personal fear and annoying thoughts of the future planet? How do you calm your anxious mind and look at the world with more hope and optimism? Here are some of the ways recommended by experts for you to manage eco-anxiety and lessen your worries a bit. The first one is to acknowledge that you have eco-anxiety. By accepting the feeling that you have eco-anxiety, you will become more aware of what you're dealing with, since there's already a label attached to it. The fear of not knowing what it is eliminated, and you can be more focused on the next steps. It is also important that you learn about the environment. If you take time to educate yourself about the environment, it will bring more awareness and a proper understanding on how it works. Ignorance of what is happening to your surroundings makes your anxiety worse. So if you take action by researching and analyzing the process of nature, you can think of more ways to help the situation improve. Communicate. If you find yourself paranoid about the future and it becomes unbearable for you to take hold of your emotions, just talk it out. Reach out to someone you trust. They can be your family or friends, or you can even reach out to some communities and groups that are dealing with the same situation as you. If you can't find a way, you can ask for professional help and advice from a therapist. So please remember, there's absolutely no shame in asking for help if you need to. It's important that you release that bottled emotions inside of you so you can move on and free yourself from the stress it caused you. Do what you can at the moment. Remember this, you don't have to be a superhero to be super. Every effort counts, from regularly cleaning your space to switching to eco-friendlier products like biodegradable containers and reusable bags. These small steps can help to reduce your carbon footprint and improve the planet. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Start with gradual changes and build up from there. And if you want to do more, spread the word and participate in community campaigns and volunteer programs. Let's all do what we can for a better future.
I almost forgot it, but do you want to do something from the comfort of your home? Then play our games, as we aim to support and bring awareness to sustainable projects all around the world. So download them with the link in the description down below, and now let's continue with the video.
So here's a question. What feels good for you? Spending time with your loved ones? Doing your hobbies? For some, it's being face to face with nature. So one way you can be accepting of your eco-anxiety is to go out and appreciate nature. Sometimes good old confrontation therapy, where you face your fear, is the best. In case your fear of a doomed environment is causing you to become detached from nature, you can instead spend more time in it. And instead of thinking about what ifs, you can shift your thoughts into something more productive and helpful. So go camping, go to the beach, go hiking to your favorite location, or even just sit at a park and admire how beautiful our planet is despite its imperfections. Lastly, give yourself a break and breathe. If you're feeling overwhelmed by eco-anxiety, try doing breathing exercises and practicing mindfulness. These techniques can help calm your mind and reduce tension in your body. Just like with general anxiety, taking a moment to focus on your breath and letting go of negative thoughts can make a big difference. While EcoAnxiety isn't a medically recognized disorder, it is still important to take care of your mental health and find ways to cope with these feelings. Now that was a lot. I hope now you're aware of the serious topic of eco-anxiety and can take away some self-care action for yourself or people you know. Know that you're not alone and there are valid ways to approach it, like what was mentioned earlier. And remember at the end, in the grand scheme of things, we're all broken earthlings with a mess to clean up from the older and modern generations. Some people fight for the earth. Some may not care at all, and some are filled with confusion. If you're depressed or feeling some kind of anxiety when you think about our future, remember it's okay. Don't hide from your emotion. Accept them and try to channel this energy into something positive. I know this might be easier said than done, but try to channel your energy into something good. Go outside and enjoy nature while you can. Educate yourself on environmental topics and make interesting videos about it. Or be creative and maybe you invent something super valuable for all of us to fight the climate crisis. I'm not gonna lie, there's absolutely no guarantee that our future will be okay. But just like Dr. Jane Goodall advocates, there is still hope, and it's up to us to take that thin chance of hope and transform it into reality. And all we have is now. Now to start caring and transitioning into a more sustainable way of living. Now to contribute in every possible way we can. Now to take action as every possible effort counts. Now let's take a deep breath and let's do something good.